Hi, everybody. My name is Suzanne McAllister. I'm with Interviews with a Friendly Vegan. And today I'm really glad to be talking to Kel, who is going to introduce us to Isaac, who is in the background. I think he's got his back to us, but I'm not sure. I can't see him that well. Anyway, you might remember Kel from some interviews that I did. Oh, and it looks like Isaac is making his way out. Okay. Anyway, we're going to get to Isaac in a moment. So Kel is the founder and operator of Spiritual Haven Animal Sanctuary. And I did a few interviews with him a number of months ago, which are on the YouTube channel, Interviews with a Friendly Vegan, Upstairs, Downstairs with Kel. So you can learn more about this sanctuary. There's a lot of background to it if you listen to those. But today we're going to focus on Isaac, and I'm so glad Isaac came out. So, hi, Isaac. Hi, buddy. Anyway, tell me how you met Isaac.
Well, what happened was I actually thought of this, I guess it was yesterday. 30 years ago, I was in a pet store. I can't place now where it was, but I was in a pet store. I think I was with my girlfriend at the time. And this large parrot started like talking and making noise. And as often happens, it seems with people, you know, what's the word? Not newness, but the excitement, just kind of you know, most people don't have parrots. Most people, they have dogs and cats. So this was something new. And back then I had a tendency of jumping, you know, very quickly on decisions, making rash decisions, not giving things much thought. And that's pretty much what I did. I thought it was really neat that this parrot was, you know, was talking like humans and stuff. Yeah. So I did some research, you know, very brief research, and I found, and it pains me to say, back then I found a breeder in the area that bred these birds. He's a Gende conure. His breed is from Brazil. There's various types of Gendes. He is a I'm sorry, there's various types of conures. There's sun conures. I can't think of the other one, but he's a Gende conure.
Can you spell those words? Because I'm not familiar with them.
I think it's Jenday, Gende.
Okay.
Conure, Conure.
Thank you. Okay.
He does have the hooked bill, so he is a parrot. He's just a small parrot. He's not as big, obviously, as your cockatoos or macaws. So he, you know, these guys, their life expectancy is 25 to 30 years. Last month he turned 30. I mean, I have a paper that, you know, when he was hatched, when his mother laid him in April of 1991. So, and then I bought him from the breeder. I think it was, again, I have it written down, September 20th, I think it is, of 1991. So yeah, I just had him 30 years. He's at the end of his life expectancy. He still seems to be doing well. His head at times shakes like on its own, it seems. I think that's just from age. But like, yeah, I mean, all in all, he's still doing well. So anyway, so I found the breeder. I went, I held him when he was still a baby, and I actually, because he didn't know me, he bit my one finger. I still have the tiny light-colored scar on my middle finger where he bit me 30 years ago. But yes, I still bought him.
That, Kel, that is your tattoo
Absolutely, yes.
for
Yes.
when he's no longer in your life.
Exactly, exactly, yes. I've thought of that many times, Suzanne. When he's no longer here, I can look down on my finger and see that mark. Yeah, yeah.
So tell me, what's this like right now? And is this usual for him to come out and be just on your hand?
What about him coming out, Suzanne?
I'm just saying, is this usual behavior for him? Like, is this what you do on a regular basis? Tell me what your life is like with him.
That's part of what really causes me a lot of pain and guilt. Okay, not only did I buy him from a breeder, which now I kind of view that as maybe I actually, that was a good thing because he was born in captivity. He's never been in the wild. He doesn't know what it's like to be wild. And exotic animals like this, many times they're bounced around home to home to home because the novelty wears off. At least I've had him 30 years. He's had stability, fresh water, quality food. However, because of things in my own life, for years, he was pretty much neglected. I mean, his basic needs were met with wholesome food and fresh water, but I didn't spend hardly any time with him. And it was because of various struggles in my own life that it just wasn't, he wasn't, sad to say, he wasn't a priority. But over the last, I would say 15 years that I've been working on myself, but really over the last couple years that it's really hit me that I wish over the years I was more aware and more mindful of giving him more attention. So now anyway, right now, every night I make it a point, he does come out luckily. I mean, at first, about a few months ago, he wouldn't even come out. He was, I guess what they call that, he was like, even though the door was open, he wouldn't come out. He felt more secure staying inside because he was used to that. And I got in touch with a lady that has a bird sanctuary in Maryland, wonderful lady. I got in touch with her and she said, just let the door open. You're giving him a choice. And as time goes on, if he wants to come out, he will. And that's what I did. I would just come in and sit here. He's getting nervous. And I would just sit here with the door open. And for weeks, I mean, I would like actually get teared up because I'm thinking, I have no idea how much time this guy has. And now he's overly attached to the cage and not coming out. And I feel horrible about this. And then slowly he started coming to the door. I'd put my hand over, he'd run back in again. And then we did that for a while. And then he slowly started coming out. Now there's times where I come in and I can see he wants to like come out, but I'm in the middle of doing something. But then I tell him, don't worry, buddy, you're coming out later on. So now I make it a point every night. I do come in, I sit down, I open the door, and within seconds, he's right there. He comes out, he sits with me. I wish I could pet him more, but it scares the heck out of me. When I try petting him, he'll let me pet the back of his head a little bit, but then he gets, I don't know if it's just birds or what, but then he'll like yell and like bite at my finger.
Okay.
And if he gets it, it can really hurt. I mean, it's amazing how much pounds per square inch they can use with their beaks. And even though he's small, I mean, as I say, I have a scar on my finger from 30 years ago, so they can, if they want to. So I try petting him sometimes, and if I try getting something else to like pet him with, that if he would bite on that, it's no problem. Anything new, he gets very scared.
Right.
So we just sit together, I talk to him, and then I can tell when he's kind of getting tired of it, that he's ready to like go back in. Oh, that's his yell. He doesn't talk much, but he yells.
Okay, I was going to ask you, does he have any words?
Not really. His breed, I learned after the fact, after buying him, his breed is not known for being talkers. Some other conures are. He's not, but he still yells a lot. And I heard early on, a happy bird is a loud bird. If they're yelling, making noise, they're doing okay. When a bird is quiet and just sitting, that's not a good sign. Yeah.
Maybe he knows he's on camera.
That could be. That could be. That could be.
So you've obviously, just as you've been talking about him, you had no idea when you first got him what you were doing. And as you said, it was an impulse, and I hear a lot of regret in your voice. So I guess what I would like you to say, I just have a few more questions, is what do you want viewers to know about getting a parrot? What would you say to somebody who is thinking about getting a parrot?
Well, first and foremost, I would, and I kind of, after I bought one 30 years ago, before I knew anything at all about the animal rights or veganism or treating other sentient beings the way I feel, I want to be treated. So I kind of feel like a hypocrite. But I would highly recommend to anybody absolutely not supporting breeders at all. And if you feel in your heart, after really thinking about it and discussing it with your family or whatever, absolutely adopt one from a sanctuary. Give a parrot a second home from, whatever that looks like. But I absolutely would not support any breeders. That's number one. And also, I would just add, a lot of times with the way they get these birds over, I've heard horror stories where they'll actually put them in bottles, or they'll give them things so they can't make noise in their mouth, in their beak, or whatever. And it's very cruel at times how they get these birds out of these foreign countries.
Okay.
Very cruel. So I absolutely would not recommend buying any bird from any breeder.
I think Isaac agrees with you.
Yes, I'm sure he does. Yes.
So, you're quite hard on yourself, which we know. And you went into it with the best intentions, and you learned along the way. And so guess what? Your experience, and one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about Isaac, I've never had a parrot, but I have a bird story, which I'll relate in a moment, is that we learn, and why not learn from each other? So you are here to hopefully explain to those of us who don't know much about what it's like to have a parrot, why it's not a good idea to buy one from a breeder. And if you are really bound and determined to get one, get it from a sanctuary and take a little bit of the load off the sanctuary. So
absolutely.
What I was going to
Suzanne, 1 second. My battery is getting low. This battery is old, so just give me 1 second.
okay.
Let me just grab my cord here.
Sure.